it's been a little while since I've done a training Tuesday, so I figured I would go ahead and record this that happened several weeks ago. So this picture is of a covered tunnel covered with a tarp that I encountered with Finnick a few weeks ago at a schooling event, and he wanted nothing to do with it. And I was trying to figure out how I could help him get through it. And there were lots of horses, lots of people. Our time was kind of limited. But then I remembered that I had brought him some of the small plastic stationary targets that I use to teach him from go to place. So in this picture, you can kind of see how I have them set up every couple of steps going through. And so I'm just going to kind of talk through what I did, and we were able to go from him not going near it to him walking through really well in a really short amount of time. So this can be really effective if you've trained them at home to do the stationary targets, follow them kind of like a crumb trail. So sorry, the video is kind of bad. I had to just set it up on a tripod. And so he goes, and as soon as he saw them, he's like, oh, I know what this is. He went and touched it, got rewarded, and he did it again.
Good boy.
And you can see how happy I am here. You can see the like ceiling on this scary tunnel. So that was the first time I tried it with the stationary targets. He then tries to target the camera, and unfortunately when he did that, it got the lens out of focus, but I still wanted to add this in here because I feel like it's really valuable. So here we're doing exactly the same thing again, but I had fewer targets. I think I had one less. And you can tell I'm really happy because he seriously went from like not wanting to go anywhere near it to walking through with basically no problems. So I picked up all the targets on that last time through, and here I'm just going to see if he'll walk through without any of the stationary targets. And he did, and it was awesome. So it might not work this well every time, but if you have something like this that they're really afraid of, if you can have something in your back pocket literally at home that they're really comfortable with and they know the rules of that game, which to him, this is kind of a game, and he knows the rules are I walk from one to the next, and every time I stop and touch one, I get rewarded, and I have to go to the next one before I get another reward. You can build in those concepts at home, and then it kind of helps you translate a bigger problem elsewhere. And now you can't always do this like at a horse show or things, but for schooling purposes, this ended up being really valuable for us. So this is another obstacle that he really didn't want to have anything to do with it. And I'm really bummed because I only got video of his first time going through. You can see he's even a little more hesitant with this than he was with the tarp tunnel. But what I learned is if I could use my target stick to get him to lower his head, he would go under it pretty well following the stationary targets. But if his head was up high, he didn't want to push through it with his face. But with this video, you can kind of see a little bit better the setup that I have as far as my stationary target placement. This was only his second time off the farm, and there was a lot happening in this little area. There were tons of obstacles set up and tons of horses he'd never met. So even with him being a little hesitant, I'm still really impressed with how he handled himself. So as you can see, this one's taking a little bit longer, but he understands what I'm asking without me having to do a bunch of like pulling and tugging. And so I'm just trying to really be patient and wait for him to decide to do the thing that he knows how to do. And so there he touched the target or took a step. And there he feels it on his back and kind of scoots right through. So he gets rewarded for coming through and then again for touching this last target. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to help you break down a larger task for your horse into something a little bit smaller, a little more bite-sized, and to do it with less stress. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment on stuff you'd like for me to cover in the future. You can also find these on my Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Everything's at Musgrave Equestrian. And yeah, thanks for watching.